there's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all.
This is a world of capes and lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
Hey, welcome back to Capes and Lunatics, episode 12. We're talking off the cuff with just news and comics of the week again. We'll get a good topic one of these days. But until then, joining me are my lovely co-hosts. Who wants to introduce themselves first?
It is I, Charlie, the Professor Esser, because you must seize the day to have first nomination. Oh, obviously we missed the music, so obviously we started early.
It's like pro wrestling. We're just gonna come out. We're just gonna come running out to the music.
I want you, Phil.
Oh yes.
Saturday night at the Silver Dome in Pontiac City, Michigan. You will face the wisdom of Charlie, the Professor Esser.
Isn't the Silver Dome closed down?
Sadly,
Bill?
yeah, there is no Silver Dome anymore. It is now just all one parking lot. It was always a big parking lot, but now it's a bigger parking lot with the Silver Dome removed.
Tell that to the Iron Sheik. Hey, it's me, Phil.
Iron Sheik is also from
the city of Candor again, but we can't get audio out from it this week. Sorry, guys.
Yes.
Or from last episode, is he at that eternal hell we all call work, as Charlie Esser put it?
If only we could break free.
We're all Sisyphus. It's all futile.
Should we?
Yes.
Should we start with the email?
Sure.
Actually, I want to make this one quick statement about Sisyphus. Who told him he had to push the boulder back up? There's never any argument that says once he's at the top of the hill, the boulder rolls down, that he has to go back and get it. No one said that. It's just like, he's like, I gotta do this job because it's my job, and it's like, well, that's your problem, man. You just think I have to have a job. Maybe your job is to let the boulder go where the freak it wants to go, and then maybe you gotta go explore your own life, Sisyphus. Maybe you gotta think outside
the boulder.
To change the gods have crafted for you. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
It's a good segue from the person who gave us the email. I'd say he thinks outside the boulder.
That's right, Superfan Stockton Piner. I'm guessing inspired by our conversation a few episodes back. Says, hello, Capes and Lunatics. I can't help but notice that the price of comics and a desire for publishers to return to newsprint as a means of reducing cost keeps coming up as a topic of discussion. Well, I want to let you know that there is one company that is doing just that. Alterna, Alterna Comics. They are a small publisher that I know little about, but their whole means of garnering attention is producing newsprint comics and charging $150 per issue. They recently inked a deal to distribute their books to newsstands as well as traditional comic book stores in an effort to get comics into the hands of younger readers. Here's the important part. If you visit their website and sign up for their newsletter, they will send you 30 digital comics for free.
Oh!
That's why I want to get this out here. I have not had a chance to read many of them, but from what I have read, it was well worth my $0. I just wanted you to be aware that is one publisher who is heeding your advice. I hope you check Alterna out and give a few of their books a read. I would love to hear your thoughts. Take care.
We have to have them on the podcast. We have to find
have
them on the podcast.
That just popped in my head as I was reading that. Yes.
Yeah, we're going to find out who Alterna Stan Lee is and their Jack Kirby. And we're going to bring them both on the show. Mark my words.
We all have to sign up for the newsletter and get the free comics. So we,
Oh, dang, Skippy! We are going to have a regular Alterna Comics cast here on Capes and Lunatics.
Thank you, Stockton.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I hope I hope Stockton actually has a piece of this company, because he just unleashed the beast that is going to take these people onto the next level of comic books. When my children are grown, they are going to be waxing nostalgic, not about Spider-Man, not about Iron Man, but by whatever the man or woman or other gender being of power that alternate comics is giving them. And I am proud to be a part of the new revolution in comics, based only on the fact that they liked an idea that they came up with on their own, along in the same way that I came up with mine.
Two things. One, Alterna, if you need a pitch man, I don't think anyone will do a better job than Charlie Esser. And two, Stockton, just like Charlie's wife, you have released the beast.
Oh, Phil.
Yes, if only my wife would release the beast. No, the beast is well caged.
This podcast is not.
This podcast is rated T.
Hey, it's comedy.
It's not sponsored by Viagra, but if they would like to.
See what happens when you're not around, Tyler? Do you see what happens?
No, exactly. Well, because you know why? Because Tyler is our moral center. He is the one who keeps us grounded in the principles of Superman.
Doesn't hurt. That doesn't help when we do it on a weekday night after we've all gotten up early for work too.
Well, exactly. And speaking of comics, never in my life have I felt more disappointed by buying comics this week. I did not get to read Avengers because I didn't buy it, so I haven't gotten to read a found copy yet. But Superman's still on his road trip about how great history in America. Honestly,
so you kind of got that feeling too, because I was like, wait, we're gonna get 2 issues of the history lesson.
It's basically, look, I enjoy. Here's what I'm going to tell you. When I watched the Super Friends, I enjoyed them because it was a relatively passive activity, which is watching. And to see Superman wax nostalgic, voiced by some grand voice artist, could have been enjoyable. Because I never faulted Superman's moral lessons. First, because they took over 3 minutes of the end of the episode. But to have an entire episode be moralization, followed by the distribution of corpses to people's homes at the end. It was like, what the heck is this? It's like, how is this a good idea? Is this some kind of weird, I'm a Kryptonian alien, I don't understand that it's not good to leave dead people on your doorstep kind of thing? It's like, isn't it better to inform appropriate authorities that, oh, look, this is this person's body I found. Maybe you should notify in a tasteful, respectful way their relatives, rather than saying, hey, here's your dead relative you were worried so much about. Why don't you go bury him somewhere? It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Good goddess. Superman, what the frig are you doing?
It seems weird, but do you think this was this 2-issue arc was their way of saying, respect America, respect our history, because look what's happening now? And
I don't know. Honestly, well, here's what I'm going to say.
I can't explain it any other way.
I can't say it was so political that we were like, oh yeah, Lex Luthor is Donald Trump, or Superman is Donald Trump.
Don't ever let that come out of your mouth.
It's not like there was any moment where we were like, oh yes, I see how we're taking an important political stance here. No, it was just like, oh, politics is equal, but America is great. Yay! Let's all punch the Iron Sheik, just to throw back some stuff there. Not for nothing. The Iron Sheik wasn't the Iron Sheik as a person. He was a very nice man.
Iron Sheik.
everyone who and I'm forgetting his actual real name, but everyone who knows the actor who played the Iron Sheik says he was just the most wonderful guy you'd ever meet. He owns some car dealerships here in Michigan. He's from Michigan, same as George the Animal Steel. You know, we have a real wrestling tradition here in Michigan. Well, not here in Michigan, but there in Michigan where I'm from. You know, although actually Jersey has a strong wrestling tradition too. As I always said, the reason I love Jersey so much is because I basically came here and said, oh, wow, it's all of Wayne County, but like a whole state of us. It's pretty awesome. You know, but, you know, it is this thing that, you know, when you condense things to that wrestling narrative of faces and heels, and then say, but there are no real heels, we're all just faces who have our own perspectives, you kind of undermine the entire point of heels and faces. You know, it's like everyone has a perspective, and here's a dead body to check some DNA with the Justice League for, because the Justice League's DNA base is that expansive, and doesn't that actually scare you that the Justice League is keeping that much knowledge about every human being that we can like check it that yep, that's who that is. That's certainly your sixth generation ancestor.
Hey, all I gotta say is Batman. The man has to.
That man's a fascist.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
When
so
Batman says "Hail,"
that's why they had all that info.
When Batman says "Hail Hydra," no one's gonna blink. Oh yeah. Well, he'll say "Hail Cobra."
All I'm saying is that's how they. That's how they have all that info, because Batman has to know everything.
Yeah, well, exactly. But that's the thing. It's like, dude, it's like, you know, they did a big thing with the Punisher, you know, and the Punisher's totally Hydra. And like, you know, I was like, how can you do this? Punisher is like, because this is what I always wanted. You know, this is the war, and I'm being allowed to fight my war. And, you know, I'm gonna, you know, I don't care if it's Hydra. It's, you know, Hydra is just the government who says I can fight my war. I want to fight my war. I don't care about anything else. And that's Batman. And that's where we're at. Comic books. Now, I was very disappointed by that. You know, I actually probably would have, because I also had this week, because I had it from last week, I had Edge of the Venom verse with, which I got from my son Tristan, which is Ghost Rider Venom. I haven't read it yet, but I did grab it because Tristan loves Ghost Rider and Venom, so this is totally up his alley. And he really liked the Gwenpool Edge of the Venom verse, so that might wind up like getting the full series, because Tristan likes Venom and all these heroes. Apparently, Captain America's a Venom next, so fingers crossed. I haven't gotten the first issue. I don't know what the overall plot line is, but for right now, it's enjoyable. And then I got Flash for John, who's my friend's kid, and he likes Flash, so hopefully he likes it too. But I'll read that too. Maybe those are better. But it's like that, like all my Marvel books was like Superman wasn't engaging, and then I also got Champions, which also seemed kind of preachy. I mean, I didn't really read it yet, but it's like it starts off with Amadeus Cho talking about numbers, and I don't like to think about the numbers of people who died. And it's like, okay.
No. You didn't get Generations Hulk?
No, I didn't. I decided to be good this week and just got the books that I had already said pull for me. And so I didn't go outside. You know, I didn't get Avengers. I didn't get Generations, even though they were all things I was considering. And so maybe those are great, but I decided to be good this week financially, while still being good to my comic shop.
Generations was all right, but like they really didn't explain anything. I mean, first page, boom, Amadeus is like in the past, you know, and he meets Bruce Banner Hulk, and it's just like he's like, oh, 1 minute I was in Washington D.C., so I'm wondering if like at the very end of Secret Empire, what is it, 10?
Mm-hmm.
If they get thrown into the time stream or something, but yeah, they didn't explain it yet.
Yeah, it's probably Kobik.
Probably.
Let's be honest,
I read
Kobe.
a good Marvel book this week.
Damn.
Oh, what? You read a good Marvel book this week?
Yeah, it was Wasp, the Unstoppable Wasp #8.
Oh, that was like, I saw that. I was like, oh, pick it up, open it. It's like, no, Charlie, don't pick it up, open it, because what if it's good and you want to buy it?
You want to buy it? It's good. I'm gonna go back and actually get the other 7 before this. I like the artwork. I like the story.
Completionist.
I mean, I like the first arc. Like, I like to know what's going on in at least the first arc.
Here's what I'll tell you about.
The cover made me pick it up. So
here's what I'm going to tell you about Unstoppable Wasp. She's a good character. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Lilith, I don't know if you're a grammar nerd. I don't know how easily you can overlook poor grammar. I will give that English is not her first language. I'm going to give her that. But her acronym doesn't make sense for her Girls in Action research something or other, because it's like called Girls, and it's like Girls in Action, but they drop the A, which means the I represents the A, which means it's actually Girls in Action, as opposed to Girls in Action.
Yes.
Professor Smash!
Yeah, it's like, oh, sweetheart, I love you, but no. And I love what I love best about the Wasp, which we mentioned, I think, in Super Connectivity. No, actually, we mentioned it in the last Capes and Lunatics, which was like, because we were talking about Batgirl taking selfies, and I said, well, it's like Unstoppable Wasp. She's been through heck in a handbag, and like, yeah, I do all this kind of fun, girly stuff because, I was raised to kill people. That's what my life was. I was a trained assassin, and I murdered people, and, that's the world I grew up in. And, I would rather talk about how much I like to take selfies now, because I do like to take selfies because they're a lot of fun, and it's not me murdering someone, which is what I had to do when I was trained in the Red Room every day of my life up until the moment I escaped. So, don't judge me for liking the selfies. My life's been kind of a big old mess, which is a great moment to talk about millennials and how they kind of got this short shrift in history about coming at the end of the empire, and all the old empiricals saying, oh, you youngins, you just don't
That's
know.
every generation. It's always like the generation before you is always poop. That's what everybody says. It's just
I know. The only difference is that the millennials kind of aren't going to get the opportunity. They don't have an opportunity to really expand the way that every other generation did. Every other generation had like another great war to dominate. It's like, honestly, the Earth is reaching stasis as far as war. Kind of like in the last days of war. We're in a couple of decades, maybe a century. If we haven't completely wiped ourselves out, we're going to be like, why don't we just like have a federation or something? And then, impose our federationistic ideas on other cultures on other planets, and then we can be fascistic and warlike again. But for right now, we've kind of exhausted the war reserves of our planet.
Somebody get invented the positronic brain.
But that's the thing. It's like you exhaust the resources of your planet, you have to go to another one. And, we haven't exhausted the resources of our planet yet, but we're going to exhaust the emotional resources of humans to make war with each other. So we're going to have to find other sentients with which to make war.
And get pulverized.
No, that's the thing is you always assume aliens are superior to us. I haven't seen any evidence of it because they haven't been here.
They're staying away from us. That's the smartest move they could ever do.
Yeah, but when we start coming to them, that's when things get serious.
It's like we don't want to drop into a third world country or parts of this country even. That's what the aliens are like. We're like, hey, they're like, we ain't going in that neighborhood.
Honestly, here's what I'm going to tell you: if the aliens were smart, they would have colonized us by now and eliminated us as a threat. Letting us grow and exacerbate, that's their mistake. Because once we get united, that's when things get dangerous. It's
Is
like
anybody
Europe.
a South Park fan here?
I'm sorry.
Is
anyone a what?
A
now?
South Park fan.
Oh,
A
South Park.
fan, because the episode where the aliens come and it turns out we're the reality show for the universe, I kind of believe that.
Yeah. The only problem with that was, aside from the really excessive anti-Semitism in that episode, which was like really
every episode, Cartman is just that.
Well, no. When it's Cartman, it's good. But when it said no, the intrinsic nature of the universe is anti-Semitic. I mean that's the thing. It's like you can have Cartman be a racist Schmendrick. That's fine. in and of itself, it's like this. One racist is not a problem. It's when you say that the nature of the universe is inherently racist. That's when we start to get to, okay, now we've crossed the line from saying, someone's a racist to saying, no, that's actually the absolute truth of the universe, that some groups are better than others. It's like, no. Now I have to kill you as an individual. Because as an individual, you are a problem. As a group, or as an esoteric idea, that's problematic. But as an individual, yes, now you must be dealt with in a socially responsible, fully legal method.
Oh, we're off the rails here. I'm so sorry. Did you have a favorite book?
Well, you know what?
Book?
No. Let's not get back on the rails, because there was something I really wanted to talk about tonight.
Oh, okay.
Because this is Capes and Lunatics.
Oh,
this
Charlie's the lunatic today. I'm happy.
This is not a comic book podcast. We're not here to talk about your comical books, your graphical fictions, your novels of illustrations. This is not merely the place for that. Those have a place. This is where all genre fiction can stand shoulder to shoulder and be discussed in rational and impassioned ways. And to that end, I wish to discuss today.
Wait. Here comes knowledge.
Rick and Morty. Have either of you young people watched the Rick and Morty show?
Young.
I can't get past all the burping and the weird stuff that they get into.
Haven't seen it.
Okay. I thought you were talking about me for a minute there. Okay.
But it has a hardcore fan following.
Wait. She can't get past all the burping and farting, but she's like, "Oh, I'm the biggest South Park fan."
Well, there's no farting. Well, no, there is farting. There's actually quite a good deal of farting. In fact, the entire episode I'm about to discuss has a great deal of farting in it. I know I don't have a banner. You guys make me feel bad. Someone has to tell me how to make a banner thing when I have time.
I was going to the other day. And you're like, I don't care. I'm the professor.
I don't remember. I don't know. Oh, probably you did.
Too much apple.
People tell me things all the time, but I'm an old man. I'm an old man, and I don't like to do the new things. That's what I'll tell you right now. But Rick and Morty. Speaking of old men, and Rick is a very old man, and so in the Rick Shank Redemption, there's an important scene, which is essentially Rick's origin story, where he and Diane and Beth are going to go out for ice cream. Now, this is after he has invented teleportation, or come close to it, because you see that much like as a lovely reference to wormholes, to sliders, when they go to the universe in which is an interesting sexist statement, when they go to the universe in which My Secret Identity kid was actually a woman. Yeah.
That's
and
a
everything,
great episode, actually.
Yeah. When it comes out and it's all burnt up because it can't handle the reentry. And so a subtle reference here to that specific episode of Sliders. Because it's all genre fiction now, kids. When he throws the ball through his little tiny wormhole, it comes out and it's all burnt out. And then another Rick from another dimension comes up and says, "Hey, yeah, you know what you're gonna do when you invent teleportation? You're gonna realize you're the last person to invent teleportation. Basically, once you teleport to someplace interesting, you're gonna realize everyone teleports everywhere." But of course, that's going to lead him to develop interdimensional travel. And the Ricks are like, "Hey, we're from the Council of Ricks, and we're going to teach you how to be an interdimensional traveler." What that Rick does is he says, "No, that's a hard pass." Because he realizes that this pursuit is pointless. Because what's important to him is his wife and child. And then the Council of Ricks, very clearly, it's the Council of Ricks because they open up an interdimensional portal. Because you can tell it's a different color than the spatial portal that he opens earlier. It's a green portal, which is what they drop the bomb and that kills his wife and kids. And it's then that he develops the formula to develop interdimensional travel. And of course, that's a lie. And what he tells the interrogator is that, because the interrogator says you can't alter the facts of a memory. He says that's true, but you can alter the facts of a made-up origin story. And what you see in this episode is first he tells the dad, I forget his name, wow, no one's here to give me the word. Tells Morty's father, who's kind of a dip in this whole show, because he realizes he's most likely in an interrogation simulation. He tells him to fold himself 12 times, and he can only fold himself 6 times. I see that I'm in the Brainalyzer 5000. I really thought you guys would have upgraded for me. And of course, the interrogator says, "Yeah, I told him this is the smartest man in the universe. We really should have gotten a better device to do it, but they only wanted to spend money on the Brainalyzer 6000." Now, of course, obviously, I don't know why the brain bugs are being, or the money bugs are being that way, because clearly you've already bought 12,000. You could use it here, but you're using the 6,000 because I don't even know why, except that you want to justify your existence as a money bug, which is of course a statement on bureaucracy. That it's not even about what the actual cost is, it's that you want to control costs because you want to justify your existence to a system. Which is a point. So what happens is Rick is offered the opportunity to join the Council of Ricks by this new Rick who comes from another dimension, who says, "Hey, we're a bunch of Ricks who got together to unify and do what we want." And he says, "That's a hard pass." And the other Rick says, "No, Ricks don't pass on this." And he says, "Well, I guess I'm a different kind of Rick." And of course, then the Ricks send the bomb to kill his kids. And this is the point. That was what happened. Because he had to follow his actual memories to fool the interrogator. Because if he started just to make up stuff, the interrogator would have noticed something wrong. Would have noticed that this didn't make sense. That's why he does this whole side trip about the Szechuan sauce. Because it emphasizes this idea of apathy and sociopathy that the Galactic Federation operates on their assumptions of who Ricks are. But this is a different kind of Rick. And we know it's a different kind of Rick because this is a Rick that actually cares about his Morty and his Summer and his Beth. even though they aren't actually his Morty or his Summer or his Beth. And yes, he has had more than one Morty and more than one Summer and more than one Beth in just this series. But the fact of the matter is he knows that you can't always save everyone. But he still wants to maintain his family because he actually cares about his Morty and his Beth. Because he does not actually have a Morty. He's the one Rick without a Morty because the Council of Ricks killed his Diane and Beth. And because his Diane and Beth were murdered by the Council of Ricks, that's why he hates the Council of Ricks and why the Council of Ricks hates him. Because he is the one Rick who refused to join the Council. He is the one Rick who said, I will not bow to you because I am my own Rick. I am a different kind of Rick. I'm a Rick who's smart enough to know it's not about science. It's about family and what I hold together. And yes, family is what you make of it. Family is where you can find it. Family. And that is this Rick. And we see this in every way that he tries to interact with Summer and Morty. And we even see this in the Tiny Rick episode, I'm forgetting the name, when he realizes that he shouldn't have blown off Summer. Because we very much see that Summer is, even more than Morty, kind of very much like Rick. Very much in the sense that in fact, I predict season 3 we're going to see a Council of Summers, or maybe season 4. Maybe we got to wait till season 4 to see the Council of Summers, where the Summers are the ones who have taken over interdimensional travel, and the Summers are the ones that are of issue. And honestly, I'm so enamored with this show, and I'm very much obsessed with this idea that yes, that memory was exactly what happened to this specific Rick. That everything we've seen up until this point is about Rick trying to cloud his presence and his history because he is out to destroy the Council of Ricks. Why he hates the Federation, I'm not quite sure, except for the fact that maybe the Federation is enabled by the Ricks. That because the Ricks are this constant terrorist threat to the Federation has done Rick wrong, or possibly the Federation just hurt Bird Person, who was his closest friend. And so Rick and Morty is a really great show. I don't think anyone needs me to tell that. Gravity Falls was a great show, and there's a lot of great. Honestly, this is a great year. This is a great time to be alive if you like animated programming for both children and adults, because all the adult programming is written for children, and all the children's programming is written for adults, because we've actually realized that human brains can accept lots of different informational stimuli and move beyond it in a great way. So
you let your kids watch Rick and Morty?
Me and my boys, yeah, we usually watch it once a night now because they like to watch it at night when I want to watch TV. I want to watch Rachel Maddow, but she's off this week, so we've been watching a lot of Rick and Morty. Honestly, there's nothing weird in Rick and Morty. There's people dying, but people die in Ghost Rider too, and I let my kids read that. And there's a lot of people die. People die in Doctor Who. People die in every single comic book. People die. Bucky died at the end of World War II. Bucky was dead.
Spoilers.
Oh, sorry. So, although actually it turns out he didn't die. So don't worry, kids. He's all right. He survived. Jack Monroe is dead, though, for now. That's the point, is that, I don't think there's nothing particularly. Here's what I'm going to tell you. You know what, I guess, is what makes Rick and Morty dirty is that they have more bleeps. Because they say mother bleeper a lot. And I guess they discuss the existence of sex and sexuality and gender, which of course are no-nos. in children's television, you do not discuss that there is any differentiation on genders, or that there might be more than two genders. That's always a thing for me with aliens in any science fiction story, that their genders just match up perfectly with Earthen genders. Because even on Earth, there are actually multiple genders, and there are even species like seahorses, where males carry their children. It's like they produce the sperm, and then they put the eggs inside them, and then they carry them.
This podcast
That's a thing.
is rated teen. He just said sperm and uterus.
I'm just saying, it's not that weird to think that other alien species might have a completely different gender dynamic. I've never understood why the insistence that Superman must be male. Talks about Superman, when you read fanfic about Superman and Lex Luthor, it's like, why should Superman be attracted to females? Why do we assume that Kryptonian secondary sexual characteristics must follow humans? I mean, yes, Supergirl kind of implies they do, but if you go with an actual last son of Krypton idea, then who knows? To quote Marlon Brando, why can't Jor-El just look like a briefcase or a bagel? Who knows what Kryptonians look like? But of course, as
lack of imagination, Charlie, is the answer.
Well, as Richard Donner pointed out, clearly because Kal-El looks like a human, Marlon Brando didn't want to actually show up on film for Superman, which is kind of sad because it was actually, I think, one of his best roles. Not that he had a lot of good roles, but he was famous for his roles. Marlon Brando is one of those actors who you go, oh wow, I loved him. In that film, he spent 3 minutes in. He's sort of like Orson Welles in that way. Orson Welles had a lot of great 5-minute roles, like at the end of the Muppet movie. I'll never forget Orson Welles at the end of the Muppet movies. One rich and famous contract, please. That will always be Orson Welles to me.
Oh my.
Bill, do you have a show you want to rant about or a book you want to rant about?
I don't know about rants, but this week Walking Dead 170 came out. I know, back to the comic books, Charlie, but they didn't.
That's okay.
They didn't come right out and expressly say it, but I think they did their tribute to George Romero because they're shown in this issue, even though I think they're coming from the wrong direction. They were crossing the Roberto Clemente Bridge into Pittsburgh.
Oh. Getting a little close to home, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
They didn't mention Romero even in the letter page, but I'm assuming that's their tribute to him.
Yeah.
That was really sad. I'm a huge fan of his, and
people do die. Yeah. It's the truth of it is that, I mean, man, I kind of felt sad because, her last name is Foray. I want to say it's Jane Foray, the voice of Natasha and Rocket J. Squirrel and 1,000 other characters throughout history. She passed away, and I was like, it was almost one of these things where okay, yeah, I get it. It's time. It's like she was such an important part of history, but it's like, yeah, I think we're also so desensitized to celebrity death. It's hard to, and honestly, I saw many loving tributes. So it's, and I don't want to say that I wasn't moved by it, but it's almost like. It was the one recent big death in my life where I was like, I have to reblog. I have to share my memory. It's it was more it was almost and honestly, it's going to sound weird. It was almost like when your mom or grandmom dies, where it's emotional to you, but it's not going to be as emotional to anyone else. It's this is, and I think with voice artists, maybe that's how it is. It's we never knew her. We knew her voice, and it's a loss, but it's also like, when my mom died, it was after a very long thing, and it was very sad. And honestly, I still get sad today when I think about her being gone. But when I think about the one thing I always want to talk about when I want to talk about my mom, it's actually the last kind of joke she told me. It's not about the depth; it's about the surface and kind of the love of that moment of life. So it gets harder and harder for me to cry about people dying, because all I want to do is say, hey, you know what? I really loved them when they were alive. And
we're all old too, so everybody that we love is older for the most part.
But wasn't June Foray? Was she in her 80s or 90s?
Oh no, because she was. Let me put it this way: she was at least in her 20s and her 60s in the 1960s.
Yeah,
and it's already the 18s. So she's definitely rolled over that odometer at this point.
But I mean, people pass away in their 50s and 60s, and people are like, "Oh, what happened?" If you say, "Yeah, this 93-year-old person died," everyone's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, but when people pass away in their 50s and 60s, obviously it's usually either involves Eskimo pie abuse or other abuse of some substance. And at some point, it's like when John Candy died. I love John Candy, but it's like, yeah, that guy wasn't taking care of himself. And yet Trump still lives, and that man does not take care of himself.
He said the magic word, Trump.
You fired?
Is that a sound for Trump? I don't know. Do we have a sound for him? I don't know. No, I'm just going to say, like I said, the man likes steak and ketchup. That man does not live a healthy lifestyle. And it's nothing political even about it. I'm just saying, like, if the man had never done anything other than reality TV, if he had passed away today, I go, well, yeah, that guy, really liked overdone steak with ketchup. That was not a man who was, that wasn't a guy who was in the gym once a week, Although for what it's worth, with Chris Christie, when he dies of his massive heart attack, it's going to happen. It's going to be because he was in the gym once a week, because it's like, dude, you're way too big to be going to the gym once a week. You got to slow pace that. You got to just start walking everywhere. That's how I lost a lot of weight. Is you got to start walking everywhere. Got to get a granny cart to bring your groceries home. That's how you lose the weight, man. When you're a big guy, you got to do it slow. Too many big men try to lose it fast, and it's like, dude, it's not a race. It's not even a marathon. It is just a path. It is just a path leading forever into the horizon, and you're walking it. If you're a big dude or a big lady, I'm not going to say, I don't know how ladies' metabolisms work, so I'm not going to say that's going to work for you exactly. I'm going to say, if you're a big person and you want to lose weight, I mean a big person, not like, oh, I got to lose 5 pounds. Like 5 pounds, yeah, fine, whatever. Fat people can lose 5 pounds taking the schwitz. That's what I'm going to tell you right now. So, like, whenever a fat person hears like, oh, I can't believe I lost 5 pounds, it's like, yeah, okay. It is totally meaningless to us. But if you are trying to lose weight as a big person, don't try to just exercise it away or even diet it away. It's about both. You have to watch what you eat. And you got to put exercise into every aspect of your life.
This is an all-encompassing lifestyle podcast, Philip.
I guess. I mean, just let's read some of these notes I've written. Charlie Esther, Grammar Police, Rick and Morty, weight loss tips.
Yeah, well, you know what, Phil? I believe when you founded this podcast network, your statement was, gee, I really wish I didn't have like 6 different podcasts to talk about everything I find interesting with my friends. I wish I just had one centralized podcast. Well,
this is what you get. I do want to recommend a DC book to you, Charlie, and that's Green Arrow. I don't know how you feel.
Big surprise. You like Green Arrow? Okay.
No, very political. You would like it.
Settle me, Lilith. Settle me.
And now it has a really good take on Lex Luthor with the Ninth Circle. Like, oh my god!
Oh, this week,
this last issue was so good, so good.
What is the Ninth Circle?
Bad people.
Bankers.
Okay.
Like basically bankers crossed with like God, devil worshippers.
Okay.
So
Can I stop you for a minute? That's not the Ninth Circle. The Ninth Circle of Heck is reserved for exactly 2 sinners. Who knows who the sinners are? Come on, literary question. The Ninth Circle is reserved for Judas Iscariot and
forget the second one, but I know it's basically like traitors.
Exactly, it is Brutus.
Let's just stab Caesar. Sorry,
exactly. And everyone else who stabbed Caesar isn't in the Ninth Circle. It is only Brutus, because Brutus was Caesar's friend. Because it is the betrayal of those you truly care, and for those who share the bond of blood, the blood of battle, not the water of the womb. That those who betray those who you are bonded to, those are the people for whom the Ninth Circle is reserved. Now, I don't know who these bankers are betraying, but I gotta imagine
the consumer.
They're just like the other 20 guys who stabbed Caesar. They're like, hey, this sounds like politically advantageous to me. Let me stab this dude.
All right, Lilith, you took the wrong shack. Charlie, it's basically a 3-way team up between Green Arrow, Superman, and Lex.
And we can keep Superman out of it. He's not that interesting in it. Lex is very interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if he stops talking about American history, it might be fine. I don't mind. Like I said, I don't mind the American history. I just, don't want it like 2 issues long and without an opinion on it. It's like
every page. It's basically reciting facts like every page. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and then there was this person. And
they're
then
trying
there
to
was
get an
this person.
educational grant. Cut them a break, man.
Are we still giving those in the era of Trump? I don't think so. It's like I don't think Betsy is funding anything educational at this moment. I think Betsy is like, that doesn't sound. I don't see the profit in educating people. Yeah, I know, sweetheart.
Jody was started.
But Lilith, I'm sure you enjoyed.
Yeah,
I'm sure you enjoyed Nightwing this week.
I did, but Green Arrow was still my pick.
Ooh, see, Charlie.
Okay, well, no, that's fine. You know what? I had light week at Marvel this week. I don't think next week will be light, but if it is light, I will pick up the Green Arrow. Which number is this?
Is it 28?
Yes, 28.
28? Okay. So I will pick up Green Arrow number 28.
The one with Superman and Lex Luthor on the cover.
Okay. Well, unless they have a variant cover,
I was going to say, because they always do.
Mm-hmm.
It could be some sort of cartoon picture.
Those covers. More lenticular covers coming for Flash.
No more lenticulars.
I am excited about the Justice League storyline. This is what we like.
What are they called? Eterna Comics. We are gonna. They are never gonna do a lenticular cover.
Woo!
One hopes.
Anything else anybody wants to talk about? Otherwise,
lenticular covers. Lenticular covers.
Already did lenticulars.
This is at the Deadpool podcast, Phil. Keep the bleep button to yourself.
Yes. The only thing lenticular was cool was the Secret Wars superhero figures shields.
Yeah,
because it was I could pick up my old Colgate one. Like I had one of those damn Colgate. I'm an 80s baby and a 90s kid. Of course, I had like a Colgate advertisement in my bedroom.
Keep it in the bedroom, Lil.
We make holes in teeth. We make holes in teeth. Or actually, no, that was the crest. That was the crest. I don't even remember what they were called, man. But yeah, they had the cavity creeps, and they were attacking the city of Toothopolis or something.
Oh, jeez. Welcome to the Anything Goes podcast.
That was their thing. Where do you make holes in teeth? They were basically like things, but they were like very dark colored, like cavities, and they would climb the teeth that protected the city and like hammer them to make holes in teeth. And I don't know if it was Colgate or Crest or.
If you're watching this on YouTube it. Find it on YouTube.
Yes, look up. We make holes in teeth, and that'll tell you. But there was a team of I'm not going to say there were a bunch of nice white kids because this was like the 80s, so they might have been very many multicolors of Benetton kids. Might have been one of them in a wheelchair. You never know.
I was going to say they were punks with like mohawks and.
No. They were clearly kids with fantastic teeth.
Whatever they were a non-threatening, diverse cast, Philip, to quote Supergirl loosely.
Yes. But they would defend the city of Toothopolis, which may not have known what it was called, but it was a walled city walled off by teeth.
And they were the
which
defenders.
Are, of course, the hardest bone in the body. Your teeth are the hardest bone in the body.
If you take care of them.
Well, if you don't take care of your regular bones, they're not strong either.
Drink that milk or lactose-free substance.
Yeah. The enamel. Well, the reason why teeth are so strong is because they don't do anything except be strong. That's their entire existence, is to be strong enough to cut through meat and vegetables, which, if you don't cook them, are very hard.
Did she just?
You want to eat a raw potato.
Did she just give the raspberry?
That's a hard chew.
Did she just give the raspberry to vegetables?
I did. Force a habit for many, many years of being a child.
Yes, we all were childs for a while, but
some
of us
than
have
others.
been an adult longer. Yeah, some of us have been an adult longer than we've been a child.
This podcast has been a mess, and I love
have been forced to make other people eat vegetables, and at which point we're like, no, stop with the complaints about vegetables. Good for ya.
How many tablespoons do you want? 5 or 2?
Anyway,
that's the only choice you have.
Anyway. Oh, yes.
Was there any news, Phil? Can you get us back on track for the last little bit?
What about the CW's crossover this year for the DC shows?
2 nights.
2 nights.
I guess they realized dragging it out was not optimal.
So
Arrow and Supergirl on Monday?
Well, that's the only thing they had to move because, Flash and Legends are already on the same night. So all they had to do, now they're dragging Arrow for just that week for the crossover. They're dragging Arrow from its new night on Thursday and putting it on right after Supergirl on Monday. So I guess the order is going to be Supergirl, Arrow, Flash, Legends of. They really want that Legends of Tomorrow to be the last part, so they get the numbers up for at least that episode.
Yeah, well,
he don't
Legends is like Inhumans,
It's the redheaded stepchild.
You want it to be good, but it never is. It never is.
There's been a couple of good episodes of Legends. I can say that.
Although it was one of these things I was thinking about.
Well, Charlie, they're trying to improve. They're trying to improve Legends of Tomorrow because the article just went up today. They want Matt Ryan's John Constantine on that show. We talked about it. I think since the beginning of the second season.
You know what?
We talked about that since the beginning of time.
You really want no, stop. You really want to make Legends of Tomorrow good. You actually have the exact thing you need already in the cast to make Legends of Tomorrow good, which is Stein and Jax as Firestorm. Because as I've pointed out,
I thought you were going to say Saren Pike.
No, Firestorm is the actual quantum Superman for the DC universe. like where he's already before you have to like go back and reckon. Yeah, he was totally quantum-y. It's like he was totally quantum-y doing transmutation of matter before Alan Moore even thought to do that kind of stuff.
But that's his kryptonite though, the special effects budget.
Yes, but the thing is, you could have, because like Dr. Manhattan himself being a physicist, in that point, you could have Stein start to realize, hey, we do have this quantum power, and start pushing Jax towards this greater understanding. And that, I think, is a better story. That you could have Firestorm. You could even have Firestorm start to become all quantumly entangled with his future selves, and then they realize we have to fight Firestorm. What? But I'm Firestorm. I know, not you, Firestorm. Your future self. We have to find a way to undo what you're going to do and do it in the future and the past at the same time. That's a story. But they're not going to do it because that's too interesting.
Oh, Lilith, that's so cute. He wants to get all deep on the CW.
I know. I was like, do you not know what channel that is? I mean, we fight to not have ships on shows, and they just can't do it. But if you like, I'm really on the hype train for that Justice League storyline where they meet their future children from the dystopian future.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually start reading the Justice League for that arc.
The only question I have is how did Etta and Wonder Woman have a child?
Maybe they're both intersexed. I believe it's the politically correct.
Well, you know what? Hey, here's what I'm gonna say. Who says when we say Amazonians are females that their secondary sexual characteristics are the same as everyone else's?
Bring it full circle.
Exactly. Who's to say that? It's like, oh no, what? Of course, I'm an Amazon. Of course, I can.
Or she was made of clay and shoved at his womb. Who knows? Who knows these things?
There we go. I'll totally. You know what?
Do I have to censor you now?
Yes,
totally
of course.
Classic. Like here. Let me make something for a minute. There we go. Babies.
And on that note, maybe we should
video podcast, Phil.
What?
I said you're the one who wanted a video podcast, Phil.
The video is not the thing that's concerning me; it's the audio.
I don't think the word clay is a dirty word, or making something out of clay.
Yeah, you.
No, I think you go to dark places.
Making something out of clay cannot be dirty. Okay, you haven't seen Ghost, the movie Ghost. Okay.
Oh wow,
that was a scene of love, Phil. I guess you just associate love with perversion, and I don't know what to say that about you.
To quote Supernatural, Swayze rocks on occasion. May he rest in peace.
Now he's an actual ghost.
So, anything you want to add? Maybe shameless plugs?
Sure. All right, everyone. If you want to contact us, like our good friend Stockton did, and trust me, I'm going to be looking up that.
That's our homework. Pass it on to Tyler.
I will. All right. So if you want to contact us, just like Stockton did, or for any of our shows on the Capes and Lunatics feed, you could email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, just like Stockton did. Facebook, we are facebook.com/capesandlunatics. Twitter is @capeslunatics. We're on Instagram. We're on Pinterest. We have our voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember to check all our social media, and I think we usually put it on I've been trying to put it on all the YouTube shows, and when it goes up as a podcast, your links for the Capes and Lunatics merchandise, please. Help us buy comics and put our kids through college and whatever Lilith does on her off hours. Trips to Vegas, whatever.
As long as it's not destroyed.
In many ways, she's the wisest of us all.
Lord help us all. The wise Lilith Hellfire. Where can people seek your wisdom?
Well, you can catch me live tweeting Sundays and Mondays over on @Lilith Hellfire. For everything else, @Adventures in FG. You can find me on @Adventures in FG, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. And be sure to check out my website, adventuresinfangirling.com.
Charlie, yes, sir.
Well, if you'd like to write to me in an old-fashioned email way, the way our moms and paws once did, you can do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. And of course, follow me on the Twitters as I live tweet soon Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., The Inhumans, and maybe even that Cloak and Dagger show that's coming soon.
No, Gifted. That's my book.
New Warriors.
New Warriors. Hey, all about the Squirrel Girl.
Hey, you know what's coming?
At Charlie Esser. Yes, Phil.
All right. No, I'm sorry.
Interrupt me again.
Defenders is coming first.
My rhythm. That's okay. I'm sorry. What's coming first?
Defenders.
You can't live tweet a Netflix show. I'm
you can.
honest.
Say, hey, I'm watching episode 1 right now. Boom.
Well, I guess it's a live tweet in the sense that I'm alive and I'm tweeting. It's not like you have a gaggle of people who say, hey, we're live tweeting this show, because that's the point of live tweeting, Phil. It's about the social interaction, not about your self-aggrandizement. I can sit there and watch every episode of The Incredible Hulk right now and say, I like The Incredible Hulk. This scene is kind of crazy. This is silly. But it doesn't have any merit unless the good folks who also watch it on MeTV at 7 o'clock on Saturdays, which we can't anymore, are interacting with me and I'm interacting with them, and we're having a social connection and actually feeling like human beings for once in our miserable lives. If you'd like to do that with me, you can do so by following me at the Twitters at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsselCR. Look for the 2 E's in the middle for quality.
Philip.
Me. You're the one who's running the show.
Oh, yeah, alrighty.
Or did you already give your stuff, Philip? I don't know.
NightwingPDP@gmail.com on Twitter. I am at NightwingPDP.
Now you can just point to the...
Yeah, don't gaslight Philip, Phil. Okay, don't say, oh, you're the one saying it, when she's like saying, yeah, dude, do your freaking scene.
I've been beat up tonight.
And we're gone. Thank you for joining us this week. Our hot little mess. This has been...
Oh, Capes.
And...
The Lunatic.
There we go. Something like that.
And we dance our way out.
Booty, 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 booty,
And
booty,
they dance.
boom. Booty shake, booty shake, booty shake, booty shake. Twerk it. Twerk it.
We gotta have a drop for that one. Just Charlie saying twerk it. And that's the new.
Rob, please get that to us.
Twerk it. 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 Twerk it.